Okay, so in this video, I'm actually going to kind of give you architectural design and strategy on how we're building power apps with AI, creating these smart applications within your tenant, your environment, from an organization perspective. And this is critical, right? Because when it comes to AI and building applications to either use AI or building applications to automate AI, one of the biggest concerns for organizations and customers and clients is that where is the data going, right? So everything has to stay within their tenant, and I will show you how we're building this out. So in this particular situation, we're building the ultimate AI social media generator. What does that mean exactly? This is, as you can see, on the screen, the first thing you want to do is pay attention to the profiles, right? Because when we talk about the profile, this is the voice or this is the intent of the social media. So in this case, this is for Burr investors. If I hit this drop down, this is a mock-up so you can't see it, but I have another one for AI, Empower AI. And that's when I do social media posts around reviews of AI and how it can benefit the workplace, or reviews of AI, how it can benefit an app developer and how they need to level up or skill up to take advantage of that, as well as real estate investor. I have another social media to where I do posts for real estate investors and those who want to grow their money using real estate, and how we kind of execute and make money using real estate. So each one of those are examples as different profiles or persona. The next thing on the main screen here, this is the post that are generated. So once you kind of run it through the AI, this is the results of that. And here I have an icon for all my tweets that are created. Here's the LinkedIn post for all the LinkedIn posts are created, or LinkedIn articles. Here's the Facebook icon for the Facebook posts are created. And again, you can have different types of Facebook, right? So you can have Facebook posts that are generated for those who are, for a Facebook page, or you can have a Facebook post generated for those who are part of the Facebook group. The tone is a little bit different how you do that. Here at the bottom, this is Reddit. So this is an example of a blog post and how that's generated. So here you can select the status, if it's active, if it's done, or if it's posted or scheduled, wherever the case may be. And then I kind of go over to topics. Now, the topics are going to be the things that you want to talk about, right? So for Power AI, it may be a Ignite video that was presented by, Satya, or it could be another Ignite video that, presented by Jeff and, SharePoint Premium, or wherever the case may be. So those are the actual topics that you want to talk through. And this is where you kind of queue those up and get that to work. Next, we got to build a screen for the style. What is the post type or the style of the post? Are you doing this for Facebook, Facebook groups, Facebook page? Is it for LinkedIn? Are you doing the LinkedIn article? Are you doing the LinkedIn post? Are you doing the LinkedIn long form post? All those different styles and types will be highlighted here. When it comes to tweets, you can also put in there how many tweets you wanted to generate to make sure they're random, and they make sure they have different context or different point of view as you're generating these random items. Now, one thing to keep in mind when I'm creating these posts or creating these tweets or creating these blog posts, these different types have different views on the subject matter or the topic that you selected. So the way that you leverage this, and this is how organizations can really take advantage of this, is imagine you have a blog post on your website and you want to highlight the products and services that that blog post may speak to, or that you may highlight an article that you found on, one of the technical blogs or something like that, and you want to speak to how your products or services can leverage that to grow a business or grow our customers' product base or service base, or whatever the case may be. So you can spin the topic that you're going after and create all these different social media pieces along with that. Even like your products or services, it could be a product page that's on your site and you want to generate different like case studies, testimonials, or maybe value add content centered around that product or service. This would generate all those social media posts for that. So then, so once we kind of get that, this is where you create your different profiles. And again, from this drop down, if this is like for the Burr Invest, or if this is for real estate investment, or is this for, AI consultant, or is this for, or Power Platform Consulting or Power Platform Product or whatever the case may be. This is the persona that you switch and change. Even the target audience, right? So say, for example, with Power AI, I can have one targeted to business leaders and decision makers, whereas another topic or profile could be for app developers and developers alike, right? So it really depends on, the target, the profile, and the intent. But this is where you kind of set all of that up. And then next, we will have the schedule post. Now, this is the piece I really want to automate, right? Because I know there's a couple of APIs out there for social media to where, and I love this concept of interacting with a single API and then behind the scenes, let it do the heavy lift with the different APIs for Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or so on and so forth, like YouTube and all these other ones, right? So I'm still researching which API I want to interact with or interface with, but this is the piece where right now we're just going to schedule and drop it into a SharePoint list. But eventually, like version 2 of this, I will actually call it API and it will actually do the scheduling for me. And this scheduling can be smart, right? So you can say, okay, for long form Facebook posts, we want to post those. And there's a best practice with this. And I kind of doing some research and analysis with ChatGPT. And I think it came up with this is, okay, if you're doing long form, it's best to either post those early in the morning when people are commuting or late in the evening when they have time to do it. And then they recommended that during the day, I think like from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., this is all Monday through Friday, to do your short form or your value added content, right? Or video or whatever the case may be. So these schedules will be smart enough to know, one, the type of post, and then the available slot and where it should slot them. Like if it's long form, it will only slot them for mornings and evenings. If it's short form video or value add video, it would know to slot them throughout the day, Monday through Friday. And then maybe if it's instructional video, it would know to slot that before noon on Fridays, like for YouTube and stuff like that. As of right now, I'm not doing video, right? So this is only content, text, and in the text format. But eventually we can get there. So we're going to build all the smarts around scheduling. And again, this is just going to be for MVP. The V2 of this is to do the actual schedule using the API. Okay, so let's go ahead and fire up the whiteboard. Okay, so let's fire up the whiteboard, and I'm going to show you how I kind of have this design. I actually have a portion of this working. And again, if you want to if you're an app maker and you're familiar with building Power Apps and building Power Automate, and you want to take it to that next level of building Power Apps or Power Automate with the AI, there's a link in the description below to kind of show you how to do that and show you, the class that we have. And, I'll help coach you through and we'll build these together from soup to nuts. I think the prerequisite for that class is that you build at least 1 or 2 Power Apps with a Power Automate, and you're familiar with that, because we're not going to spend a lot of time on going through the tutorial of Power App Studio or even some of the basic things like dragging components in and writing formulas for components. Any of the formulas that we'll write, we'll absolutely write them together, and you'll have access to a full working solution that you can easily download and install in your tenant. But, together the course, the whole core of the course is to build these together. So that's just, one of those things that you can take advantage of, and that link is in the description. Okay, so let's go ahead and build out this technical architecture on how we're going to do this. So the first thing we want to do, we're going to have our Power App. And this Power App is going to have that left navigation as you saw. And that's going to allow us to navigate through the different screens to set up our different pieces of the generator. And then here in the middle, this would be our gallery. And as you can see, that gallery is going to have like an icon, and then it's going to have information related to each one of those. And this would just be a rinse and repeat. Okay. So now we have our Power App. What's driving this is going to be our SharePoint list behind the scene. And when it comes to the SharePoint list, we're going to have several of these, right? And we're going to have them to represent all of the components that we need. So we're going to have a SharePoint list dedicated to profiles, And again, these profiles are going to store the different types of profiles that we can have within our social media engine. And then we're going to have the different post types. And I think I call these in styles. I call these styles in the wireframe. And then we're going to have the actual seed or the content or the topic of the post. And this would be the thing that you want to tweet about or talk about or post about. And then you're going to have your SharePoint list that holds all of the generated. And this is just going to be the results of the AI. Okay. So when you launch and this is going to be a Canvas app. So when we launch the Power App Canvas app, we're going to have all these data sources tied to each one of these SharePoint lists, right? So we're going to have that drop down of profiles. So that will be here. We will also have the screen, the profile screen that will allow you to add and manipulate profiles. And then once you click save, that would just update the item in the SharePoint list. And the same is true for profile types. So, each one of these would kind of now, map to the screen related to those items. And then when it comes to the generated post, this would just be that main screen that shows the generated post as soon as you land on the app. So if we toggle back to our app, and we get to the generated post, this will just come straight off of the generated post SharePoint list. And then this would be our topics from that topic list, the style from the style list, and then the schedule. I think the schedule and the generate post would be the same list, because this is just going to be the view that shows this same view, but with additional information where emphasis will be on the schedule itself. We probably would get fancy and show this like in the calendar format, but we see where the class leads us. And then ultimately this would be the profile. So those how our SharePoint list will map. Now, when you look at the actual flow diagram or the flow of this app, it will be something similar to here's the Power App, and then that will write information to the SharePoint list. Let's just go ahead and tag these. And then once it lands in the SharePoint list, it would then trigger the Power Automate. So it would trigger this Power Automate, and then this Power Automate would work the magic. Now, when it comes to the Power Automate, and we'll go through this in the class, what you want to do is split this out more of like a microservices, right? So what we do, we'll create a Power Automate subflow, and this is where we would encapsulate all of our AI. And basically with the subflow, the design pattern behind this would be once it kind of triggers and does this thing, right? So, there would be a trigger when the item is created. And then from there, it will probably create a bunch of global variables to where it's extracting information. And then there's the business logic on how it will pull from all the different lists. Because that's the thing, like when you look at these lists here, let me just pause for a second. When you look at these lists here, all of this contextual makes up the prompt, right? And then the topics is just the number of items you need to build tweets from. So it's really like, okay, so here's the let's just say here's the Power AI platform profile. And then from there, you want to generate, let's just say 7 different post types, right? So you got LinkedIn article, you got LinkedIn post, you got a Facebook page, you got a Facebook group, and then you're going to generate like 5 or 6 different tweets, right? And those tweets are going to be different, right? The goal is not to repeat, but to pull out key topic ideas or key information from these topics. So all of these kind of make up the prompt, and it will iterate through the different types. And for each type, it will look at the topic, and then it will produce the output of that and store it in this generated post. So all of that business logic will be encapsulated here. And then from here, when it comes to calling the AI, and I love separating this because when it calls the AI, then how you call the AI and how you process the JSON that's returned from the AI, all of that's going to be consistent, regardless of what the prompt is, regardless of how your output is formatted, regardless of how some of the other key pieces, because all of that is detailed and instructions within the prompt itself. So, but the physical piece, or let's say the physical piece, but the actual piece of calling the AI API would just be encapsulated, and then you will process that JSON, and then you will return it to the calling automate, and then that was stored in the SharePoint list or wherever that needs to be. I really, really, really love this model of separation. And I think this model was key, right? Because what's going to happen here, because we're right at the beginning stages of this AI, this is going to grow over time. And if you can, handle all the changes right here in this box, treating it like a global function or a centralized function, then all your Power Automates, the calling flows to these subflows can remain the same. So you can do these upgrades to your existing systems because, over time, this may grow into 30 or 40 flows, right? As you come up with different solutions and different pieces of logic. This social media generator is just one of the 30, but you may come up with a ton of different apps and ideas on how to add AI to your information or to your application. And you don't want to be in the scenario where the AI has been upgraded and now you have this new capability and you have to go and touch all 30. I would rather go and update this one subflow and have all my 30 take advantage of that. So there is a lot. I mean, that's a gist of what we're building in this class. You're going to learn a lot of patterns and capabilities on that you can reuse and leverage. And again, the good news is all the source code of the working application will be available to you. There will be quizzes to make sure that, we're testing your understanding. There will be coaching sessions to where you can come in and ask questions and get, immediate help for anything that you're stuck on, so on and so forth. So this is what we're building. I'm super excited about the Power Apps AI course. If you feel like this is a good fit, again, the link is in below. I'll keep adding these videos to YouTube, really just highlighting different pieces of what we're doing in the lab. Is super exciting on how you can leverage AI and Power Apps and really kind of be a game changer for organizations. All right. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.